Hello, this is me, Leo's Tales again. Oh, and then there's Jack. Yeah, so it's movie night again. I meant to do this like a week or so ago, but it's hard to do it every week. So today, I'm gonna be reviewing Frankenstein. The new version of the Grinch. Elf, Star Wars Theory's new Vader fan film, and maybe the new and maybe Family Man, but I don't know whether or not I'll have time. Oh, and that was my uncle in the background. So where should we start? Let's start with Star Wars Theory's Vader film, because that's the one I've seen most recently. So, I was impressed. I mean, I've seen a couple of Star Wars Theory's videos. He does a very good job with them. So, when I heard he was making a fan film, I was like, sounds interesting. So, yeah, I saw it was uploaded, so I got around to seeing it. And yeah, it's very good. I don't know the exact budget, but I will assume that it's much lower than most Star Wars movies. But the CGI was very good for such a low budget. I mean, I think it did the best job it could have done, and that's good. So, and that's my cousin. So, probably my biggest complaint, well, not complaint, more of a criticism, is that especially in the beginning, it's pretty hard to tell what exactly is going on. Like, you see all these lights flashing, Vader. I mean, it keeps cutting in between Vader and these clone troopers, and it's like, okay, well what's going on here? What's happening? And it kind of like ruins immersion in the story. So, and the fight between Vader and the clone troopers, I mean, it was very, very cool, but still, it's hard to tell what's going on. The lighting makes it hard to understand and such. And then it's like, when we find out that it's a dream, it was less of a blown, oh, whoa, that was a whole dream. It's more of a, oh, okay, whatever. Or even worse, it was a, wait, what? What happened? You woke up? But, up until then, I mean, it was very good, very solid. Especially seeing Darth Vader choke the Emperor. I mean, like, it clearly is just the dream, but still, that was pretty cool to see. It's also interesting seeing, like, the meeting with him and the Emperor afterward, where the Emperor is like basically says to Vader, hey, kill me. And then Vader's like, no, I can't do that. And then Emperor's like, jeez, what a disappointment. So I felt like that was interesting. Seems like the Emperor has kind of a death wish and wants his Padawan to kill him and succeed him. So yeah, it's weird. And yeah, the actors did a good job of like capturing the original characters. So yeah, I'd say that's about it. I'm looking forward to the next one. I'll probably give him some money on Patreon, even though Patreon's been kind of going through some stuff that hasn't made me the most, Patreon has been doing some stuff that I'm not a big fan of, but I will probably set that aside to give Star Wars Theory a couple bucks for this film, because I really want to see that come out. Okay, so what next? Okay, well, next off, I guess I'll do the Grinch. So, the Grinch, now, the critics didn't really like it, and as far as I can tell, audiences didn't really care for it that much, but I liked it. I thought it was a good remake. Good animation. It had good animation, and Benedict Cumberbatch did a good job as the Grinch. It's very different from Boris Karloff's, which I think it's good, though, that he kind of, like, sets himself apart from Karloff. Now, I haven't seen the Jim Carrey version, so I can't really compare it to that either. but he makes the role his own, basically. It's very clearly a different Grinch, like, and also, like, it's like in the original one. I mean, the Grinch works fine for 30 minutes because we don't for a 30-minute film we don't need to know why the Grinch hates it. We just go along with it and then see the ending. But the problem is that you can have a big film, you need more character to the Grinch. The Grinch doesn't have much personality, except he hates Christmas, he steals it, and it's like, oh, I don't hate Christmas anymore. Ta-da! So, it gives Grinch a personality. It explains why he hates Christmas. Yeah, that was very well done. And also the humor I found pretty funny. I mean, some of the jokes were like, okay. Also, I'd say that felt less Seussy than the original Grinch. It felt a little bit modern for Seuss, but, you know, yeah. And then probably my biggest criticism is that The Grinch is a 30-minute movie originally, so that's kind of hard. It's hard to turn that into an hour-long movie without making it feel long. And there are points where the Grinch does feel long. I felt like there are some subplots that they could have like cut out or at least shortened, like the reindeer. Like, I feel like for the most part they could have left him out and it would have been fine. I mean, some of the parts where I was laughing hardest were with him, but all in all, I feel like the story would have felt a little bit tighter if they'd cut him out. But yeah, so yeah, I liked the new Grinch. I'd give it 7 out of 10. I'd say 7 out of 10. And as for the Star Wars Theories film, there are actually some stuff I want to mention about Star Wars Theories film. So, like, there are a lot of people saying in the comment section, "Ooh, too bad this masterpiece isn't canon. It's better than the Disney films." And I have to admit, I really wish it were canon. I wouldn't call it a masterpiece per se, but it very, very well done, of course. But not really a masterpiece. I don't really consider the Star Wars films to be masterpieces. But they're still very, very, very good and more fun than and I like them better than other movies that I would call masterpieces. Like, I call Chinatown a masterpiece, but ultimately I prefer Star Wars to Chinatown. So, yes, just because it's not a masterpiece doesn't mean it's a really good film. So, but you can't do that. And yes, I wish it were canon. Now, as for the comparison between it and the Disney films, I feel like Disney films have much better cinematography, but I don't know. I mean, the fact that it didn't rip off plot points from older movies, and the fact that it doesn't really do too much continuity errors, kind of gives it a little bit leg up on Last Jedi and Force Awakens in writing, at least. Maybe not Rogue One, though. I mean, it's hard to top Rogue One with these days. So, yeah, I'd probably give that one an 8 out of 10. Maybe no, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. And then we'll see if the future installments live up to it. So yeah, so I've done Grinch. Okay, Frankenstein. I'll do Frankenstein next. So Frankenstein, it's very different from the book. I haven't read the entire book, but I've read like most of an adaptation of it. And I kind of skimmed through the rest. So there's some music going on. So yeah. So Frankenstein is, compared to the book, it's really not that horrifying. The book does a much better job of making it scary. I mean, really all that happens in the Frankenstein movie is it drowns a girl, which is something I want to talk about later on, and it kills the manservant. Oh, I forgot, it also killed the old doctor guy. I still wouldn't... Okay. Bad point. But, you know, still, compared to the book, the monster doesn't actually do that much that's bad. And it's actually pretty dumb. If anything, sympathetic. But in the book, it's very intelligent, very conniving. In the movie, it's Boris Karloff does a good job of like making you care for the monster, and maybe it's not the monster. So I don't think it really is a monster. I just say it's like sort of like a puppy that doesn't know what it's doing is wrong. Sort of. Like Fritz is beating it up with the whip, and it's like, geez, don't do that to this because it's gonna backfire on you. Don't beat up your animals because animals don't like to be beaten, and they shouldn't be beaten. So yeah, Frankenstein didn't really do the best job of like taking care of this new person that he created, did he? And then it backfires on him. So, but still, it's not really all that scary a movie. I'd say it's more sci-fi than horror these days. But anyway, it's still a very good movie though. Very well directed, good performances by Karloff and Colin Clive as Frankenstein. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. Maybe an 8 out of 10. Well, something like that. And now compared to The Shining, which is my favorite horror movie, I'd say that Frankenstein is a better movie than The Shining, but Shining is a better horror movie than Frankenstein. So, yeah. I think that's it for Frankenstein. What's next? Elf. So, Elf. This review is gonna be hard because I've seen Elf many times. I've seen it many times, so it's gonna be harder to review it honestly because I've seen Elf more than any other movie. So.
Hey, there's no toilet paper in there.
I was wondering what if you had to
Way to ruin the mood. Okay. So yeah, I've seen Elf more than any other movie, so my review will be tilted in that regard. So it might be a little bit, not dishonest, but my review of Elf will be tainted, to say the least. So Elf is Jon Favreau's film starring Will Ferrell. It's about a human who was raised in Santa's workshop and goes to New York City to find his real dad, who turns out is on the naughty list. So a lot of the humor doesn't make me laugh anymore because I've watched it so many times. But the humor is very clever. The humor really capitalizes on the concept, and it's not something that feels like it lets the concept go to waste. Like Blank Check, that had a pretty good premise, but it did not utilize it well at all. Elf utilizes its premise, and that is very important. Now a good premise does not equal good humor, and like a bad premise or not bad, but mediocre premise can be super funny, but a good premise that is utilized properly is amazing. So, and Will Ferrell does an absolute amazing job as Buddy the Elf. Like you never doubt him for a second, basically. And then James Caan does a good job as the dad, and decent performances. Like none of them are like, oh, that's bad acting. So, and good cinematography. There's some parts where it felt like they literally just had Will Ferrell walking around New York or a mall, and then he'd think of a joke and say, hey, can I put this in? And then he'd do it. I don't know if that's how it worked. Maybe Jon Favreau was the one who thought of the jokes, but still, they did a good job of like putting in all sorts of jokes that I don't think I could have thought of in a writing room. Someone could have thought of in a writing room. So yeah, Elf's a fun movie. I can't really rank it because I've seen it too many times. What else? And then I wanted to do Family Man if I had time, and I do have time. So, Family Man is probably, in my opinion, Nicolas Cage's best movie that I've seen. Now, Nicolas Cage, he's not that well praised by critics. Wait, did I say Will Smith? No, I said Nicolas Cage. He's not well praised by critics, or at least his movies aren't well praised. Like, Adaptation did well, but other than that, I really can't think of any movies of his that are fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Everything else is rotten, including Family Man. But I'd say Family Man is his best performance. Like, in National Treasure, Nicolas Cage is, he feels like he's overacting too much. He's too much the action hero. Like, when Harrison Ford plays Indiana Jones, he is the action hero. Nicolas Cage is too much the action hero. But this isn't really one where he overacts. He just acts and does it. So in it, he plays a banker who wakes up one morning and finds out that he's in a completely different... He's catching a glimpse at what his life would be like if he'd gotten married to his ex-girlfriend. And who's played by T. Leone. Or Tay Leone, I don't know. And they both do good jobs. It's very well written. I wouldn't call it funny. I mean, there's some clever humor, but nothing that really made me laugh. But it's clever, and there are some really classic lines in there. So yeah, it's Nicolas Cage, one of Nicolas Cage's best performances. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. So, is there any other movies I wanted to review? I think that is it. Was there some movie-related news I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, there was the trailer for Men in Black. The new Men in Black, Men in Black International. So I might do a reaction video to it, or not a reaction video, but a video where like I give my opinions on it while watching it, because I've already seen it, and it really wouldn't be a reaction. So, what do I think of it? I think it has potential. Liam Neeson and what's his name again? The guy who plays Thor, Chris Hemsworth, are both good choices. I don't know her name. Valkyrie from Thor Ragnarok. I'm not really familiar with her. I didn't like her character in Thor Ragnarok. I thought she was kind of annoying in that one. But, you know, just because someone is annoying in one movie doesn't mean that they're going to be annoying in another. Hayden Christensen was kind of... I find him annoying in Attack of the Clones, but lots of people have praised his performance in Revenge of the Sith. So, like I said, just because you're annoying in one movie doesn't mean you're going to be annoying in the other. So, yeah. So I don't know. Also, the humor was kind of funny, but it doesn't stand up to the standard given by the original Men in Black movie. It's not that clever, really. I mean, it makes me laugh a little, but the original Men in Black did a much better job. The one thing, though, that I am glad of is the fact that it's a what do you call it? A spin-off, not a sequel or reboot or anything like that, like the Ghostbusters movie. Because one thing I saw was they were saying, "Sonny, you ruined Ghostbusters. Now you're gonna ruin Men in Black." And I feel like if this movie does poorly, if people don't like it, at the very least, though, Will Smith, Agent J and K are untouched and untainted by this. So we could still get a bad Men in Black International, but maybe in a year or so we could get a really good, or at least better, Men in Black 4. But I hope that doesn't happen. I hope this movie is good, because I love Men in Black. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Then we got our first glimpse of Will Smith as the genie. He's gonna be blue later. Luckily, though, I mean, not that I think the genie has to be blue, but you know, it's a big part of it. And I'm really excited to see Will Smith as the genie, because I think he was the best choice for it. I mean, he was great in Men in Black 2. Not Men in Black 2, Men in Black. And he's been great in pretty much every movie I've seen him in. Maybe not After Earth so much. I felt like he did a good job in After Earth. A lot of people hate that movie, but yes. I'm rambling now.